John McCaig with JesusChristTrust.net. There it is. And countdown to Judgment Day. We're in a 64-year time loop, right? Pretty obvious once you see it. I'm the first one to see it of the humans. And 9/11 is the halfway point, and it's 64 years. So 9/11, 2033, that's Judgment Day. And this is the countdown clock to that. Now, I talk about all the stuff I talk about on this channel and at this church is hidden, all of it. It's never been released before. I'm a prophet and a saint. I don't study this information to get it. I receive the information from the Holy Spirit. That's it, from God. Christ consciousness is having your consciousness being one with God. And so you're delivered information when it's time to have it. And it's, uh, by experience and information both. So you get the information that comes to you, oh, and then you have experience of it as well, which, everything is an experience of truth, but it's really focused on, where you are mentally, spiritually, on your spiritual path, on your information path. Everything is set up individually for each individual, pre-planned to, uh, what are we here for? Well, we're here to win our soul. You follow? We're here to look, how we're inside an egg, right? We're inside a bubble, both the body and literally a, physical bubble. We're inside in an ocean. So, in a matrix, right? In a womb, in an egg, right? What's my last name? Anyway, we'll get into that on another video. So, uh, that's where we are, and we're there first doing the physical evolution, going through all the forms, receiving the top evolution form of human, and then having as many lifetimes in as many human bodies as needed until our consciousness involves, until it receives, it's not, you don't no longer feel, nor you never were separate from God, but you just have a veil there, like you feel that you're separate and individual. Do you see? You do have individualized consciousness. That's why we're here. Not to have a collective consciousness, but to have individualized consciousness, as well as, the consciousness of you're not separate from God. You are God, right? You're not separate. Everything is God. So, everything is God. But you don't have that feeling of separateness anymore. You have the knowledge of being one, which has three aspects: Sat, Chit, and Ananda, right? Knowledge, Sat, Chit, power, Ananda, bliss. So Satchidananda was a famous yogi in America, in Yogiville. You can look him up. Anyway, so we're here to, that's our path to win that. You see, oh, I'm not separate from God. Then you don't take a body anymore. You don't reincarnate. You won this spiritual game that God set up for us, and then you don't do this anymore. You go home to God, and you don't have to go into the prison anymore. The parrot doesn't have to fly into the cage anymore and fly and eventually fly out. Once you fly out, you've earned your wings, and that's it. Now, uh, what's going on the church here on the website? Get out of any debt, the debt forgiveness thing. Okay, that's a decade I've been doing this. This has been banned from so many platforms. I had to put it under this church, right? But the inner circle over here is all this hidden truth that I'm talking about. I wrote a book on this, and there's a lot of information in there, and I mean a lot. And you also get, once you get a course here, right? You can get into the classroom once you're logged in as a student, right? You get into the classroom. Oh, right here, yeah. This is free, right? Anyway, you could get in there and discuss the knowledge. I'm a moderator in there, and with other students, other people learning this information. Eventually, all these public videos and some other videos are going to be made private and turned into a ministry, Christian, to be a Christian minister, of course, for that. So, Giving out all the truth so that you could do what's needed out there. All right, let's get into the focus of what this specific video is about. Okay, deal with the devil. Okay, so uh, I started this trust, right? Where did it go? I started this trust that you can get here, and now you can get out of taxes and so on. But here's the thing: every soul is signed, sealed, delivered with the In God We Trust. We, me, 33, 33 being 2033 being the last year, so it's 33. That's the name of the devil, the god of this world. It's called in the Bible. Santa, right? Satan and the evils at the North Pole. That's the physical location of, the God of this world. It doesn't need to be in, that's just where the hidden kingdom is. So, anyway, on this is it, I'm going to tell you what happened to me, okay? Uh, Now, I I created this trust, got everyone out of death and taxes. That's what's happened. Once you sign this trust, you're not in the In God We Trust. You can't be killed. What did Jesus say? You have eternal life, and that's literal. That's not. You have eternal life. Don't you know what life is? Life means you can't be killed. Death, life, death. That's not. Jesus is not an idiot. He's not trying to. Oh, I'm trying to explain something you can't understand now. Life and death. What's so hard about that? That's easy. You see, eternal life. Meaning what? You live until the last day, judgment day of the 64-year time limit. That's all that means. You live to the last day, and then, you go to heaven, right? Revelations, right? Last book in the Bible. Hey, Revelation, revolving, like a revolving door. Revelation, this happens over and over and over. Why is it called Revelations? Obviously, we're in a time loop, obviously. But anyway, when I discovered the In God We Trust and came up with a concept myself, I didn't discuss this with another human, okay? I didn't discuss this with anyone. I didn't work this out. I didn't see this on the internet. None of that. I just figured that you could make a deal with the devil. And I was like, wait a minute, the deal's already made with the devil. And I found the In God We Trust and everything. I was like, oh my God. Because I was studying trust and I realized, you can't have the name of a business out there, marketed like there are two special words out there, bank and trust, at every Secretary of State. So what happened was I I was like, oh, you can't be, the bankers run everything, right? Everything for the devil. They run everything from the money slavery system. They hand it out to themselves and they trickle it to the people with Jesus. That's it. So, otherwise, how are you going to make a deal with the devil? Like, oh, I want money. I want the things here, right? The devil exists to foment desire. If you have a desire of any kind, and that any kind, it doesn't matter. You name a desire. Oh, I wish I was better at blah. I hope I get blah blah blah. I wish I had that. I wish I was more like this or that or anything. Anything in there. Anything of your desire to have something or be something you're not or whatever. Right? All you should have, there's one single desire that's correct to have. You want to be with God. That's it. There's nothing else. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing else. There is nothing else that matters here. Nothing. Not one single thing. You're trapped in a domed cage where you reincarnate into a 64-year time loop. If you think that's cool, well, you stay. If you think that's insane and devilish, you got to work to get out of it, which I have. So when I started that trust, okay, for the first time, what happened? I was living in Tucson at the time, uh, and it was in the winter, because it was warm there, and the rent was cheap in Tucson, and it was just dry as can be. They don't even have a creek or a river or anything there anymore. It's just it's indescribably dry. But it's warm that time of year, I can't take the desert for longer than a couple months. It's too much out there. But a lot happened while I was there. A lot. Just so much. I banked in this downtown Chase building most of the time. But I also uh, started with corporate credit stuff and so on, and learning that out of there's one of those office mail forwarding centers in on a top floor in that Chase building. So Chase was on the bottom floor of this unbelievable first floor, built by God, never changed one single thing on the inside of it. Perfect from, the first day uh, of uh, of this reset, right? 1960. Bam! It's so beautiful in there. The walls are bronze and like the ceilings are bronze figures. It's unbelievable. You can't even describe it. I can't describe it. It's like worth a visit, to like look at the inside of this bank. It will blow your mind. That's but that's not the branch of Chase I want to talk about today. I'm going to talk about another branch because, like I was saying, I was like, oh, you can. There's a deal with the devil, and I was like, oh my God, you can't use the word bank and trust unless a bank or a trust, because the bankers run everything. I was like, oh, okay. And then I started looking at that dollar bill, and I was like, Inga We Trust. I was like, that's a trust, and I looked it up. It's in Pennsylvania. I'll make a video on that again, but I've already put that out many years ago. So anyway, I'm in Tucson, and I'm learning about this trust, and now I know they can read my mind from any distance and all that stuff. I didn't know it at the time when I was getting these revelations. Like, so much happened there. It was really indescribable. I mean, I was living with my wife at the time, and she almost died. I had to uh, save her life during that time with prayers, and this was not like, oh, close to death. No, it's just, a lot of blood. It's just indescribable. I had to throw her into a bathtub full of water, and there were what's that substance they make it sound bad, uh MMS drops in there, and prayed over her, and the demon jumped out of her, and she began to heal. Um, so, I mean, just so much happened out there. It was really indescribable. I can't go through it all, but I do want to. But I want to sort of generally bring it up because uh, once you get out of the deal with the devil, and I mean really get out of it. Yeah, you sign it with a trust, but the actual, you have to it's not as only a signing of a piece of paper, right? It's an event that occurs. You experience a oneness with God, and like the way you go to sleep, you go back to God, the original state of God. You're not here, right? And you go back into the original God state, right? Of uh, you're not separate from anything. You're just there, but you're you have potential consciousness, right? At that point, you don't have individualized consciousness unless you're dreaming. You're like, oh, okay, now I'm in this area, but you do not see this here, right? You're not in this world, right? You don't see it. Your eyes are not here. Your consciousness is not in this world. It has left. You're in the original state of God. So when you reach the samadhi state, you lose consciousness of this, like Jesus did. Lost consciousness for 3 days, and at the highest, at different stages, there are different, samadhis, but the highest one being where you do actually, your body stops, your heart stops, and so on. I've experienced that not for 3 days, but for 3 hours. Jesus 3 days. So, um, and once that occurs, once you've reached the final spiritual thing, then because that's done by God's grace. The devil doesn't have anything to do with it. The devil pushes you, right? The devil is our adversary placed here by God for us to have an adversary to fight against to win our soul. Okay? Anyway, I want to tie this, a lot goes on around that time period. You see what I'm saying? Like the events around in your life and the actions, they become tumultuous and like, stuff's going on, you cannot believe it. All kind of miracles, good, bad, everything, people, all the time. One of which I signed the trust the first time on 3/14/2016. As so uh that's January, February, March, right? 2016. So January 8th of 2016, I'm laying in bed next to my wife, literally, and I'm just looking at my phone, and I'm pulling up Facebook because I'd be on Facebook then. I stopped after that. In 2016, I'm like, I'm off, you know. I mean, I got back on a little bit just to show I could get back on and whatnot. I did do that and so on, but I was just like, I lost my taste for social media after that. But I'm looking at my phone, I'm just laying there, kind of waking up, and I'm like looking at Facebook, and I look at it, it says memorialized, right? I'm dead. You're killed off, dude. Not your account is closed. Not your account is closed. Not, another block. You can't post for X amount of days and all that crap. No, 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 none of that. I had every one of them. You could possibly have multiple times. Every other thing you can have, I had it done. So many times the things they tried to do to me until ultimately on, January 8th, they memorialized my account. I had just been doing a radio show and everything, weekly, and one evil fairy that was on there because I was co-hosting, and my co-host would get all the guests on the show, which were all just evil and had no proof and were worthless. But this one who had been on there 5 or 6 times, Rob Johnson, I bring him up because January 8th, same day, he is killed by, the powers. He disappears, and it's like he's dead. And it's like, oh, okay. Same day, I get memorialized, right? And my wife looks at this and freaks out. I'm like, what is this? And she's like, let me look it up. And she Googles what memorialized me, and she's like, you're dead. Dude, you're dead. I was like, what do you mean? I'm dead. I'm like sitting right here. She's like, no. And then she looks up further. She's like, oh my God. Looks up further, and she's like, you can't memorialize account. And she looks it up. It's like, you have to have an obituary from a newspaper clipping, right? Or a notarized death certificate. There's no newspaper of my death anywhere. So, someone had to create a notarized death certificate, which Mark Zuckerberg, with all his billions of dollars, must have done. Or just told his team, memorialize them, whatever. But I was alive. So that was the message sent to me by a guy worth billions of dollars, okay? Or guy, a creature, whatever it is, right? Worth billions of dollars. And so my wife freaks, and, that we ended up planning to leave and stuff like that. We were only there for the winter, but because it was an affordable, warm place to be. And I mean, it's just, like I said, I ended up getting the account turned back on and stuff. But this was, basically 2 months before I figured I was in the process of figuring out how to do this trust, and I actually had kind of really just figured it out right then. And I ended up waiting, until early March to like do it right before I was leaving town, just in case, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do this right before I leave, which I did. Got the trust done and the bank account open and stuff like that. Um, like I said, on 3/14/2016, and left soon after. Um, I'm in Florida now. So, Oh, it was just amazing. I'm trying to give you like not just I'm going to give you my specifics of what happened to me in the process, okay, with the deal the devil offered me, but I want to let you know like the stuff that will happen around this and the people will drop dead around you literally and and you know it's impossible to describe everything that goes on. It's really impossible. And I had taken that Toyota Tundra, I'm driving it around Tucson, and that I'm publicly, posting. I'm not paying them. Come and get it. I'm with God and stuff like that. To see if you could repo it. I took the truck. From the same dealership, from the same exact Toyota dealership, I had gotten a Toyota before in the '07 '08 crash, and they repoed it. I'm like, I'm coming in getting another one at the same dealer, baby. That's me. That's just me. You think you're tough. Let's see anyone else do the shit I do. Oh yeah, no way, right? No way. I'm like, once they took everything, my home, everything, messed up my family, you know, made me homeless. I'm like, you give me a roof over my head and internet and stuff, I will fight you with every breath, every day till my last day, and that's what I do. I never let up. I never let up on them. Never. I help people every day, all day. I help people. And then when I'm not helping people, I'm breaking trail on new ground, you know, and working out. Well, because what do you make a donation to on my website, or at the school or church? What do you make a website, and what does that produce? How to do miracles, get out of death, get out of taxes, right? Can't be killed, on and on and on. Miracles, how to do miracles. The technology, the techniques, the abilities. That's and to do them, you have to do them first. You have to be the first one to do miracle and repeat it. You have to be like, oh, I got this down. You know what I mean? I can play this song. I can sing this song. I know this melody, and I can teach it to others. You see, um, and that's when you become extremely dangerous to the God of this world, and you upset the balance. Do you see? You're no longer welcome here because you know everything. You cannot be controlled. You see, you can all the rest of the humans here, or all the rest of every creature here is controlled and does what it's permitted to do. Period, and nothing else. That's all it does. Easy to control, easy to teach. This is reality. Of course, none of it's true, but just like a sheep in a little pasture, literally just can't think, can't do, just eating grass and getting nowhere. Reincarnating, getting slaughtered, reincarnating. So many times, uncountable, right? Until you're like, what's going on here? If that matters to you, to most, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so, and also, let's see, this was 2016, that's right. So, here I went in on 3/14/2016 to a branch of Chase. It was a brick building, okay? It was a brick, ugly building. I didn't really pull it up. It was just in parking lot. It was kind of near my house or whatever. Oh, it was like this building, one of these Chase brick, ugly ass buildings in there are two or three of them, so I don't know which one. They were just ugly like this, And I went in there, and I opened up the trust and so on because I actually went to two places. I went to two places, and like we don't do trust here, and they sent me to another one. It was two ugly ass brick buildings. And I opened up a trust. I was like, oh, okay, come in here. Very nice man. And Hispanic guy living in Tucson. Very nice. Very super, super easy, helpful, sit down, just a super nice guy. And it was a branch near where I was living, so I went in there, a bunch of times or whatever. He was a very nice guy. We finished that transaction, and I said, "Oh, can I have a debit card?" He's like, "Nah, You can get a debit card, but you have to go to another branch. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like already deep in, I'm 2 branches in, I'm going to another one, right? After his son, and this was on 3/14/2016. That was a Friday, okay? Now here's a branch right here that it was sent to. See how it has a glass front? This is a famous building built in 1971, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you could, you know, it's, this place right here. See how the cars park at an angle out front there? You see what I'm saying? They're angle parked out there. Um, there's like you park right at the steps there, but there's also more parking lot where you can park like at an angle out there like that. It's bigger than it looks. It has more depth than it looks at parking lot. Here it is, right here. This branch right here. This one, East Broadway, right there. Um, so I go in there, and there's a glass front, right? And you sit kind of in the lobby. You're sitting there, and you can look out front. And I was just waiting, and it was like 4:45. Okay, so on a Friday, so, and there were a couple people in there, and me, and I'm sitting in there, and basically, I'm like, oh, I made it. Like traffic. It's almost 5 o'clock. It's Friday. I had to go to another branch. I was like, barely made it. I didn't know if I was gonna make it, and I was like, maybe I have to go Monday or whatever. I was like, I want to do this. Like this has to get done. And so I go over here. I park. I was like, okay, it's before 5. Just before, maybe quarter over something. I get in there, open the door. I'm like, I'm in, and they're like, I was like, crap, I'm not next. There are 3 or 4 other people in there, but it's a sizable bank. It's pretty, and you could see it has like a center area, kind of where the customers hang out, and there's like a L there of chairs, and you sit there, and you could see there are a bunch of offices, glass offices in there and stuff. So, and there are people in there helping other people because there are people waiting. But I'm not in there too long, and basically the rest of the people get helped, and so it's like right before 5. You know what I mean? Like it's right before us, maybe 10 or 8 of or something. You know what I mean? Like right before 5, and this black, like where this car is right here, this black supercar pulls up, and I'm sitting here on the L's like this with seats, and I'm over on this side of the L, and I'm just sort of looking outside, I'm like waiting my turn, and this car comes in from here and parks like right in, not in the front slot, but in the middle area, and but pointed that way like this car is, but over here, and so gull wing door pops up, shiny black, supercar. I don't even. It wasn't like, oh, there's a Lamborghini. Nope. It was like, what the hell is that thing? I mean, literally, what is that thing? So, you know, whatever your image of a black supercar is, with like it'll easily do 200 miles an hour in 2 seconds flat or whatever, right? Completely looked like that. Just absolutely evil looking. That's the only way to describe it. Like you don't care about anybody at all. You're mobile to run over homeless people or whatever. You don't care, and that's what pulls up. Gullwing door pops open on the driver's side only. Uh, Guy gets out. I would say 33 years old. That would be my guess. And of course, pun intended there, but really about that right age. A slim guy in like a Men in Black suit. Exactly. And I mean exactly Men in Black suit, The gullwing door closes. He's gets out on a flip phone. On a flip phone back then. This is 2016, okay? On a flip phone. Walks up to the door, walks in, and I'm just watching this. I'm sitting there, I'm next. It doesn't take that long, but this is just, I'm watching it. He comes in and is talking on the phone. And walks in my direction exactly and sits down slowly, walks down and sits down like next to me. But these are like kind of like chairs, like, like just them stackable chairs, like if you were at some wedding or something. You know what I mean? With padding. These were not the greatest chairs or nothing like that, but I'm just saying something like that. So he sat down right, not in the chair next to me, but like there's one chair between us, but they weren't big chairs. You follow me? And he sits down and he continues his conversation on the phone for a sec, for a few seconds or whatever. And he's talking about a charitable trust, and I didn't really hear what he was saying except for charitable trust. And he clip, closes the flip phone. And he looks at me. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, hey, pleasant." And I said, I didn't mean to overhear your conversation, but I'm here to open up a trust too." And he said, "Yeah." He said, like, "Well, I want to talk to you about that." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I know you're here to open a trust." And I was like, "You do?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, I came by to offer to make a job offer for you." I was like, I looked at him, and the hair stood up on my skin everywhere. You know what I'm saying? When he said those words, and I was like, "Oh, this is that moment." And I said, "Oh, you're here to make me an offer, huh?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm not sure I'm going to accept your offer, but I am open to listening to your offer." He said, "Okay." And he said, "Listen, uh, I know you got a real estate background." I was like, I didn't say anything. And he said, "We want you to come out to Vegas and work with us in a real estate development company. And we want you to work with us." And I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, what's the offer?" He said, "Because looking at you," I said, I know I'll probably get a first payment today." I said, "I don't know if I'll get a second payment. So said, "What is your offer for today? What what's your financial offer for today?" And that's what he said, something like that. And he said, "Listen, he said, we just finished a real estate development project." And he said, "What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a piece of our last deal." And I said, "I'll give you a piece of every deal going forward, everything going forward, every real estate deal going forward. And I'll give you a piece of the last one." And I said, "Okay, well, what's the piece of the last one you want to give me today?" He said, I said, "I just don't open that trust account." He said, "Just don't do that." And he said, "I'll give you $485 million today off of that last project." And I didn't waste but 2, 3 seconds, once I heard the offer. And I never thought about taking it. Not before, not during, and not after, not ever. Never, never. May I go to hell when I die if I'm lying. Oh, yeah. Never thought about taking that offer. Not ever. But I looked at him and I said, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm gonna have to say no." And didn't say anything. Just stood up. I walked out that door and got on that car and drove away, and that was it. That was the offer, and the answer was no, and there's nothing else to talk about. You understand? Yeah. So what happened was signing that trust, you know, it got me out of the deal with the devil. Do you see how it does that? Different jurisdiction, Jesus Christ. You don't pay taxes. This is all legal, right? You go, I bank at Chase and TD Ameritrade, Bank of America, credit cards at Amex and the trust, and on and on and on. I'm not. There's no part of the financial system this doesn't work in. This absolutely 100% works. They have a trust, right? The got we trust, and every other type of corporation is a sub corporation taxable. By the devil. You want to work with the devil? Well, pay the devil his due, you see? Or sign a new deal, get this trust with Jesus Christ, bank anywhere, and don't pay taxes and never report taxes, and you can't be killed, can't be thrown in jail, can't be touched, can't be harmed. The devil loses jurisdiction 100%. Okay? That's what happens for everyone that signs a contract. But have you done enough, right, to leave the dome? Do you see what I'm saying? You no longer have jurisdiction over me while I'm in the dome, supposedly, but you're still in the dome in a body. You see what I'm saying? Can't be touched or whatever, but, okay, how much of that's a win, but until the devil literally is in front of you offering money for your soul, what? You haven't won your soul yet. The devil wants it back. Do you see what I'm saying? When the devil come to Jesus, it's like, hey, all the kingdoms here, all the real estate, right? I want to make you part of our real estate development company, Jesus, right? All the kingdoms of the earth. What do you say? And Jesus is like, yeah, no, thanks anyway. No, no, right? You see, until the devil offers you money, the world, everything here, literally sits down next to you and does that, well, your soul has not been fully won. Do you understand that? The devil is real as God. Do you see? Because God made the devil, God made you. Real as you and me, and a lot more powerful until the devil isn't powerful over you. Do you see what I'm saying? Not just good enough to sign that paper, but then you have to act that way. I'm not with the devil, I'm with Jesus Christ. That's all I say his name and you do what Jesus said to do, and then the devil has no reason to come by and see you. You see, except, to really get your soul back. You know, see, heaven and hell, or one of them, that isn't the full, win. You want to go back to heaven and never come back. You want to go to God. You see, you're going to Jesus. You're not, oh, I'm in heaven. No, you're going to Jesus. You're not coming back here. Heaven and hell is still duality, like this is. It's still, part of the reincarnation process. Do you see? Oh, you did good in this lifetime, so you gotta, you know, your judgment day is one day long, and that's a reset, one day. But time is 1,000 years over in the ether side. You see, in the world we can't see. That's why everything around you, they're all here. All the angels and everything is here. You can't see them. They're moving at a different rate of speed until they decide to slow down, and then they're in a human body right around you, or an animal body, or whatever, and playing all the characters around you and everything. You know, if a forest falls in a tree, if a tree falls in a forest, and there's no one there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. That's the old saying, right? But no, this is actually more accurate. If a tree is going to fall in a forest and no one is there, would the forest even exist? No, the forest isn't even there. It doesn't have to be there, so why would it be there? It blinks back into the ether, like all the characters, creatures, trees, anything here. If it doesn't need, like, you're walking in a maze. This is like a maze here, and you're walking around in it, and there's 7,000 humans. The rest of them are just backdrop, right? They're just backdrop, doing their thing, whatever. They could be anywhere, whatever. They don't know any. They're not up to human status. They're, whatever they are. They have different levels over there. But if there's no human around them, why do they need to be here? They can be over in the ether. Do you see? Where the devil is and where God is over there, watching through the veil, watching what happens here, watching in this place where you win or lose your soul, whichever one, based on your actions. Your actions, no one else's. You alone. An individual wins their soul. There's no group winning. There is an individual wins their soul, their consciousness, and off you go. You don't have to be in the egg anymore. You did it. Yay. You no longer have to be in the cage. You're done. And here's the thing. Unless you got that financial offer, unless you got, the physical form of the devil next to you. You will be going to heaven. Yeah, yeah, you sign the trust, you're going to heaven, better than not. Going to heaven, right? It's better. Way better. But you'll be reincarnating. Do you see what I'm saying? Uh, and that's fine, right? See, because there are different levels of spiritual consciousness until you should really look into Meher Baba, MEHERBABA, because he's God the Father, and that information, Jesus the Son, Gabriel, the Holy Spirit. I've met all of them in the ether. When you win your soul, you meet with them. And it's not up to you whether you go thrown back in the body or whatever. God decides that. That's it. God decides. This is all done by God's grace. But the devil gives you notice. The warden of the cage, the devil, right? Your cage, until you've won your soul, the warden has control over you in this cage, rightfully so. And God's like, yeah, stay in there. You know what I mean? Until you're ready. We don't want you over here until you're ready, which is understandable. We don't want to deal with we don't want to deal with worms until you're a butterfly. Come on over, caterpillar. You see, you have to do this. It's not fair, unless everyone has to win their soul out of the same exact game, the same time loop. Everyone has to play the same game. Everyone has to play the same time loop. Everyone has to do it. Or it's not fair. For sure, God is fair. Even the devil is, fair, treats everyone else evilly, equally, equally, evilly. You know what I mean? Fairly, evilly, fairly. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to say, but equally. You see what I'm saying? Try just as hard to keep you in this dome as anyone else. You see, but ultimately, there's only so much pressure you could put in a pressure cooker until the lid blows off. And you're like, I'm out of here. You see, so the devil is the one creating that pressure until what? You're like, I can't do this. I give up. I can't do this. You realize this is a game you can't win. You cannot win this game without what? Someone saving you. A savior. God has to save your ass from this dome. That's the only way you're getting out. There's no other way. So the devil is here to make you understand that 100%. Do you see what I'm saying? Until you bend, and you get down on your knees, you bend your knee, and you pray to God so many times. You listen, and then you turn and you start to hunt that devil. The second, I got that notice, from Facebook, I'm like, I'm gonna kill the devil. That's it. I'm going to kill the devil right at them. I mean, I have been working on it in different ways, but at that moment, I was like, I'm going to kill the devil. That's it. I'm going to kill him. And I started to hunt the devil every single day. I was like, oh, I heard on a video that, the devil has an office at Goldman Sachs in New York. I called their phone. Is this Goldman Sachs? Yeah. In New York? Yeah. Hey, listen. Gave him my name. The devil knows who I am. I want a meeting, like me or the devil. I want to see who's more powerful. I know he got an office up in there. It's got an office. I want an appointment. I want a meeting. Click. It's like, oh, okay. It's like that, huh? I'm serious. I focused every single bit of my attention on that. I'm like, you're gonna kill me? Coming at you, buddy. I'm coming for you. You see what I'm saying? At that moment. So, uh, and I ended up meeting the devil, not even just over 2 months later. So, you have to decide that you will win your soul and you will die if need be on the way, and you don't care. You don't care. I'm coming. I'm not going to be with the devil. That's it. I've had it. You're going to die. If it's me or you, it's you. I'm going to figure out how to kill you. I'm looking for you. Get my hands around your neck and do it barehanded, baby. I ain't bringing no weapons, no. I'm bringing me and Jesus coming to your office. I'm going to kill you. That's just was on my mind and everything I did all day long. Do you follow? I had had it. I don't want anything from here. I don't want anything but your death and my death. I don't want to be here either. So let's see who dies. You can kill me. If God allows it, fine. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? That's what I did. And then I turned down the deal. Do you see what I'm saying? Turning down the deal wins back, your soul, not just that from going, hey, I don't go to hell, great, but from reincarnation. And let me tell you what, when Mayor Baba was asked, because he was, God is the Son. You see what I'm saying? He's like, oh, when you were Krishna, how many people did you give Christ consciousness to, enlightenment? When during your whole lifetime as Krishna, how many humans, right, did you allow Christ consciousness during your whole lifetime? How many? Mir Baba said 17 knew exactly. So if you're expecting more souls to be won in a time loop than 17, I'm not. I'm not. That's what Krishna working here. I'm doing this work. I'm not Krishna. I'm not Jesus. I'm doing this work. I am trying to give you this information. Like, I don't have the level of miracles they do and everything at their fingertips all the time and doing them. I'm doing other kind of miracles that are absolutely visible. You got out of death, you got out of taxes, you got out of this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, out of debt, out of, name it, right? All these things, right? And so, yeah, those are miracles. They're repeatable ones by any other human, and I give you how to do them. But, obviously, I'm not doing miracles. I don't want to say that wrong. I'm performing miracles, right? I'm doing a performance, and the stage is set around me, and I go in and perform, and then who does the miracles? God does. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, come on. I know that. So don't mistake what I'm saying, but you have to play the role by your actions that you set up. Jesus set up his being on the cross. He set it all up. Don't you get it? He wasn't tempted. He set up his temptation by the devil, and he said, no thanks. Like I set up my temptation and said, no thanks. Right? You have to do the same, or you're not going to win your soul. You will have to reincarnate. Your memory will get wiped. You won't remember this. You have to start afresh. You have to do it all again in a new body. Come on. You have to fight. You have to do this. You have to turn. They're trying to push you in a corner. Turn around and run at them with a sword in your hand of what? The sword is the name of God, Jesus Christ. This is a sword that slays any opposer, any enemy, anyone. The devil runs before you. The God of this world will run before you with that name in your lips and in your heart. On your you have to say it silently, out loud, in your heart at all times. It's a sword that they cannot overcome. You slay anything in your path with it, but you have to do it. I went to Taco Bell last night. I was like, oh, I go dance at the drum circle and I pray for them there. The circle, of course, has a center point. That's just like the map of God. And they're all in there, on the edge. They dance like they're watching, like they watch out there and watch us in the dome. They're all watching us. God and all the angels, everything is watching us. Right? And so I go in, I hit the drive-in, and I come out. There's this dude and paramedics right there. We weren't there before. And I was like, oh, this guy had crashed on his bike, and I'm right at Taco Bell. Like, I jump out of my car. I'm wearing, I don't even have a shirt on. And I go over to him, and I yell, and, heal this guy in the name of Jesus Christ. And they all look at me, and his, like, girlfriend or wife was there. And, I was yelling, and I was calling for him. And the paramedics just turned around and looked at me for a second, and then went back to what they were doing. And his wife or girlfriend or whatever was like, thank you. And I left. Like, you have to, everything is put in your path, right? Everything is put in your path for you to perform the right action or the wrong action as far as winning your soul and getting out of this trap. Do you see? Based on your action. I could have been like, I'm driving by that guy. Let me pray for him in the car. No. He's right there. What? I got out and I prayed for him. There's nothing else. There's the name of God and love in your heart. Hey, help. I need your help. What else can we do? We can't do something else. We can't do something more. What is more than God? Nothing. You see? So I wanted to give some of the details of this just so, a testimony, I guess they call it a testimonial. I wanted to tell you about, my experience and the principles that were at play in it, because it's been a long time and I've talked to the devil many times in many different bodies now. It's like the Matrix. It just pops in and out of different bodies, and you carry on the conversation as before the last one you were having. Anyway, it stays away from me and has for a few years now. There's nothing. It's just has realized that I just gather information from it. Whatever it does, it loses, and so it doesn't come at me ever again. It just doesn't. It only makes its position weaker, so it has wised up and doesn't come to me for a couple years now. Pretty smart devil. So anyway, information that you need, information important to everyone. You see, this is why this is why I can't be on any. YouTube is the last social media that will allow me on. Speaking the truth, the real, actual truth. No one else has it. Do you see what I'm saying? No one else has gone this far. I tried to kill the devil, successfully made a deal with the devil. Oh, we're done. Okay, yeah, we're done, right? I ain't coming back, right? Not, yeah, okay. Deal for you, deal for me. Later. And I just got till Judgment Day. Tick tock. I'll be taking your whole kingdom and giving it to Jesus in the meantime. That's my plan. That's all I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? I didn't truth. I didn't say like I said I'm not joining your team. In other words, I'm taking out your. I'm not. You don't give me your kingdoms. I'm taking them for Jesus. I don't want them. No, I don't want any of it. But I'm giving it to its rightful owner, Jesus Christ. Now, devil, it ain't your place. You didn't build this prison, right? You just run in it, which is nothing, right? So the devil thinks it's in control. No, no, no. You're just warden of the evildoers, and you should be. They're just all evil, so keep an eye on them. I don't need you keeping an eye on me. No more. I'll keep an eye on you. And I'll change what you're doing. All right, people. Realize who you are. Realize where you are. Realize the laws at function at play here. Realize you have a savior, and realize your actions, what you decide to do, right? The setup, so the devil has to step in, right? I'd be like, okay, dude, how much money, right? How about this much money, right? It has to sit down next to you, stand in front of you, and make a financial offer for your soul. Literally, that entity has to come to you to do that. I was getting to the point, honestly, I just want to tell you, I was getting to the point where I was going to do the whole, summon the devil, just like, oh, you got to do a pentagram, whatever, this is how you do it. I'll be like, come at me, let's go. I'm gonna kill you coming through your portal. Open one up. I'm coming in. Or you come, whichever way. I'm gonna hunt you. I was at the point of doing that. Do you get me? I'm coming for you. I'm hunting you. I'm gonna take your head. But at this point, it's not like that with me and the devil. I just finish up by saying I have forgiven the devil. It is a nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? I've overcome the adversary here, gathered all the information, and helping other souls. But I could have never gotten this far without the devil playing its part. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a difficult role to play if you think about the devil, and I've forgiven the devil because I thought about being in that position when a sad, because I spoke to the devil. You see what I'm saying? And it is such a sad and lonely creature. My heart goes out to it. It's insane. It's insane from being in prison forever. Okay, it's insane. Okay, you you feel sorry for it. I just want to say I feel sorry for it. You know what I mean? Once it loses its power and stuff, it's just, it needs to be hidden and stuff to do its evil stuff because it's just creepy creature, insane, maladjusted, and sad. Sad, morose. You know, imprisoned forever. It's just, what could be worse? Do you see them saying, here's all the powers? Yeah. Does that offset being in prison forever? Not so much. You know what I mean? It hasn't dealt well with it. It's been doing it too long. So respect for your difficult position, forgiveness for what you had to do to get me here, but you're no longer my adversary. So, fine, you're forgiven. I have nothing else. You see, only thing is taking the real estate and giving it to Jesus. That's still going to happen, but that doesn't make you an adversary. That just means I'm gathering some technical, spiritual, gathering some spiritual technology, and delivering to everyone as always. Um, that doesn't mean it's my adversary. No, no, no. It's long ago not my adversary. Right? It's forgiven and it's not my adversary. It's just playing a character role to lose, born to lose. That devil is here to lose, not to win, to lose. And it has lost and it will continue to lose. And it will continue to be a loser in the game. It's losing, it has unlimited power. It's like, that's why it's crazy. It's not much of an adversary. It's a sad predicament it finds itself in. So once you beat it, forgive it and move along. All right. Get out of your deal with the devil. It's real. You have to do it. Everyone has to do it. Each individual soul has to have this reckoning with the devil before you win your soul. Okay. Okay. If you got any thoughts or questions or experiences, throw them down in the comments. Let's get into this for real. Let's get into this for real.